What's going on, guys? It's me, Bubba Blue Tay here with a video. That's when I was uploaded. Try to fix that, and I feel like doing a commentary about hunters. Really gonna be talking about though isn't like the new subclasses, really about the old ones and how you can make yourself a better hunter. So hunters specialize in movement, like everybody knows that. Best thing about them is movement, especially when you combine stompies with them. You come up, it comes like a whole different ball game. Also, I'll be having definitely in the back from jumping a little 50 bomb in class, got creative team, do my best, Traveling warrior all the way. Yeah. So let's get started. Near, far, or invisible. Every bunch of subclasses is armed and qualified to be a useful contributor no matter the mode. These three hunter types deliver the first time. Different experiences due to their distinct abilities. Making the most of this class means mastering a subclass that plays to your strengths. Stick with your starting subclass, the Arc Strider. If you take the fight to the enemy, it is hands down the best melee fighter. If you're not the up and close personal type, but still enjoy the rush of rocking at kills, the range weapon prowess of the Gunslinger offers a wealth of abilities and buffs tailored for shooter fans. If you're less of a glory seeker, more of a team player, there's gratification to be found in Night Stalker subclass as a number of non-lethal yet highly effective abilities that immobilize and disorients enemies, making them easy targets for nearby guardians. Movements is fucking king. The first several hours spent unlocking like Arc Strider, both of its passive ability sets, Wave the Warrior and Wave the Wind, play up to class melee strength. This gives you a lot of practice at jumping into the fray and punching enemies in quick succession. Becoming accustomed to jumping or rushing quickly in the crowds and getting out once your health goes critical. When you max out your movement skills, you will triple jump, make yourself a tougher target to hit. While the hunter does not have a traditional mid-air power slam, it can still be an effective killer from the skies by coming down from a double or triple jump with that melee blow. And remember, like I said, hunter movement is just king. And speaking of the dodge is what makes the hunter the most agile class are his two dodge abilities. Both of these should be used as often as possible, not just for practice, but also you can figure out which skills are right for you. If you're really comfortable with melee combat or sticking with the Arc Strider, the Gambler's Dodge is the way to go since it recharges your melee ability. Complement this dodge with two passive abilities within the Way of the Warrior, Combination Flow and Combat Flow. When used together, these powers can potentially make you unstoppable since one ability recharges your dodge while the other triggers health regeneration and extended melee range. The Marksman Dodge is much for the hunters leaning toward ranged weapons as it quickly reloads your armed weapon. This is especially useful if you find yourself equipped with powerful weapons with the long reload periods. Chain the Arc Staff. Since the Arc Strider is the first hunter subclass you unlock, you get a lot of time to play around with the Arc Staff. It's one of the most usually found supers in D2, allowing you to whirl on enemies nearby, where you can do a lot of damage while relying on the powerful slam from the air. You can miscount all the combos you can do. Since this super uses both melee and ranged weapon buttons, you can experiment with combinations by using both inputs in a string of attacks. Optimizing the Golden Slinger. Oh, Gunslinger, my bad. If after spending a few hours to Arc Strider, you find yourself more comfortable with the ranged combat, push the Gunslinger after you unlock the subclass. Two of the Way of the Outlaw passive abilities have benefits to their Golden Gun Super. If you're adept at precision kills, you're missing out if you're not unlocking the Way of the Sharpshooter. Passive abilities, all of which reward your Deadeye talents. The best complement to your position as a sharpshooter are the area of effect benefits of incendiary nades. Combine these with deadly throwing knives within either passive or ability path. But remember, you always have to carefully manage your golden gun. A single shot from the Gunslinger's golden gun is one of the most potent super attacks in D2. The trouble is that, by default, you only have 3 shots before the super needs recharging. It goes without saying, you need to pick your targets carefully. It doesn't diminish the value of the Gunslinger. Half of the subclass' 8 passive abilities are designed to enhance the super, whether it's with accuracy, doubling your ammo, at the expense of short duration, or increased damage. Now let's talk about the Night Stalker. It is a lethal subclass, especially know how to tailor its abilities specific to PvE and PvE. Against the AIs, it's an excellent support player, but it's also self-sufficient when you find yourself isolated. You vanish the smoke to create an invisibility cloud for you and your allies nearby. There's also the take to fight to the AI, which is why you should prioritize the swarm and incendiary grenades over trip mine grenade. Conversely, you can surprise opponents in the crucible with traps like trip mine, snare bombs. Speaking of PvP, And Night Stalker can be a huge defensive factor. And offensive, especially when using Vanishing Step and Keen Scout to disappear and boost sprinting respectively. Last but not least, look for armor that enhances sprinting and sliding, both of which will go a long way, making you hard to kill. It's also a super ability of Night Stalker isn't lethal, but it restricts your foes' movements and abilities, making them vulnerable to your friends and your own follow-up attacks. This also makes Night Stalker most useful when playing with the group. Whether alone in a group, the true power of Night Stalker is harnessed through your passive abilities. Underway the Chopper, you can enhance the super with Deadfall, which unleashes Void Anchor Traps. Which is where the Pathfinder, the Warrior's Quiver, can transform a Shadow Shot into a damage-dealing super, part of the path, which conjures orbs of light as you kill, unscores the super's usefulness against multiple enemies as opposed to a single boss. And one more thing. Don't get melee cocky. Whatever melee abilities you're comfortable with, don't get overconfident when you're in crowds. Combination Blow, one of the way of the warrior passive abilities triggers health regeneration and increased melee damage. This boost can feel empowering, but you're not invincible. It can be easy to get caught in a killing spree or ignore your low health. This also applies to Arc Staff. Just because you have the superhuman ability to disintegrate your opponents doesn't mean you're impervious to attacks, especially when your staff can't reach far for enemies. And now it's time for Spectral Blade talk. Forget the way you use Arc Strider or Blade Dancer. Spectral Blades is not meant to be used this way. Super requires you to plan your attack carefully rather than rushing aggressively. When you activate the super, you go invis. When you're invis, you can see your opponents through walls. The super lasts for a good amount of time, so take your time. Plan your attack. Maneuver between walls and obstacles to get to your opponent unnoticed while you're invisible, and you'll show up on the radar. The biggest advantage of the super is that you can see your opponent, but your opponent can't see you. I cannot stress this enough. It's important to keep this in mind. Once you get to your opponent, start hacking and slashing. Just keep in mind, once your attack is not as high as the Arc Striders, you need to execute the attack from much closer. Using a heavy attack will make you go invisible again. Use this as a finisher on the last opponent. There's enough super energy left, you can start chasing down another opponent. One of my last tips is, personally, I like to activate False Execution, which is a possibility to where you're crouched and you get a precision kill, you go invis. So really, I like to pop this first second to see where my opponents are before I pop my super. That way I have an idea on how to maneuver in. I'm not gonna lie, the super does have some slight regeneration, like not registration issues, and I'm still personally trying to figure out how to always get it to hit correctly. It's like when Sentinel hits people from the air. It's just weird. Also, it has a good neutral game. With a combination of smokes and grenades, you're able to hold down territory really well. And one of the best things about it is False Execution. And if you can't really get into the hang of it, it's okay, because the other abilities are really good, but if you can't get a habit of crouch shooting, then you're better off another subclass. Next up is Blade Barrage. I'm not gonna lie to you. The super is one of the top shootout supers in the game. 2 volleys of blades. If they hit, you're basically dead. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing is, the subclass itself, as in other abilities, it is, how do I say, they suck. It's really, it just revolves around throwing knives. I mean, yeah, it's fun. You get to those 3 throwing knives that burn the enemy, but it's not really good. Altogether, it's not really good. The super sub though is godly, but the passive abilities of it are not that great. But I'm not gonna lie, it does have its things. Where sometimes it'll register enemies in PvP. Sometimes it'll get 1/3 of the damage. And sometimes you go super slow. It's when you pop it, you go in slow motion. And I have a shutdown out of it. It is, sometimes you will get shut down out of it if they team shot you. But it is very well one of the best shutdown supers in the game. I say so myself. It is one of the insanely best, without a doubt. And last but not least is the new Arc Strider. It's really just the same thing, but you can block and do a really powerful uppercut. So how I like to play that tree is really running gun shotgun. I cannot gonna lie, all the trees of Arc Strider is good, But this one gives you more in the way of like finishing a shotgun fight. Sometimes you shotgun somebody and they'll be left with like a sliver of health. With that ability, you can quickly do an explosive uppercut, which usually kills them. I believe it hits for 120, so they're usually dead. Sometimes you actually use the starter fight to see enemies lined up, and yes, it does go through enemies. It won't hit somebody and stop. It keeps you going for a good distance. And the super itself is really good because you get to block, and you block most damage. I believe now you can't block as much as you used to, but it's still good. And that's really all for the video. If you guys enjoyed it, have a good time. Bye.